Hey there guys, how's it going? Welcome to a Black Ops 2 gameplay commentary, but of course this video is not about the gameplay. Or I was going to say not about the commentary there, but it is about the commentary. We're going to talk about the Xbox Still Don't Buy One, or the Xbox 180, or the Xbox U-Turn, Usher's favourite console. This is a video that I've had to make because I've had so many people message me about this, because obviously I made a video about how I thought it was a joke, all the policies that Xbox came out with, about, you know, the lack of regard for consumer rights with the online policies and the Connect issues and all of this. And obviously, as you guys know, since then Microsoft has had the worst press I think I've ever seen of any electronics product in history, and their reputation just completely went down the pan, and they're just trying to recover. They are desperate to recover for this, and I can't blame them. They're in the business of making money, and it was looking extremely bad, and in my opinion it still looks very bad, but you know, online polls and even the general public were really starting to question about getting this Xbox One, and almost everyone knew about it. You know, even people I know who aren't really into games are talking about it. And at first, I think Microsoft thought it was only mainly the hardcore gaming community that were a bit upset about it. But, you know, the general public, people go to work and they're talking about the new consoles, like, oh, you're not going to get one of those Xboxes. Oh, look at this, it's got this problem, blah-de-blah-de-blah. So it was just a bad look for Xbox. It couldn't have been much worse unless they said, you know, I think it comes before, you know, it runs on baby tears or something, or like, it runs off of the sadness of kittens or something. It was just a bad time for Xbox. Pretty horrendous showing at E3, and it was just bad times, and pre-orders were doing bad and are still doing not so great, but obviously now they've announced this news, it might change. So what is the news, in case you've been living under a rock for the last 24 hours, whatever, and you don't really keep up to date with gaming news? The news is the fact that apparently Microsoft are going to scrap this always online, well, not always online, but 24-hour check-in for anyone who wants to buy their console, and you can trade your used games as you can the Xbox 360 discs, and as everyone has been able to do on consoles since the beginning of consoles. So this is obviously good news for people, I don't know, who are going to get an Xbox anyway. I mean, there are a lot of people out there who are quite, you know, fond of the Xbox itself as it is now. The Xbox 360, they like the friend system, they like the way it is. Like, it's a good console, and they'd like to get the next one. And for some people, I think this will have swayed them over to actually getting that instead of maybe going over to the PS4. Some people are a little bit scared of change. Ooh, I'm not sure, it's PlayStation's gonna be a little bit different. For me, the thinking man's money is still on the PS4, and like I said in one of my previous commentaries about this topic, for me it wasn't even about the fact that they had the 24-hour check-in. It wasn't about the fact that they are not allowing you to trade games. I mean, me personally, and a lot of people, that is not going to affect me in the slightest, so I don't care about it. I only care about it because of other people, and not only that, but I care about it because they just are just trying to take away your consumer rights. They're trying to take away the fact that you can own your game and that you have the freedom to do what you want with your game. You know, they're forcing you into policies that you didn't agree with, and gladly everyone spoke up. It was good effort from most people, apart from the people who just liked being, you know, absolutely fisted by Microsoft, and they would have bought whatever they brought out regardless. But it was good effort from everyone, and I'm glad that they've changed their policies. But one thing I will say, guys, this is not Microsoft learning from their mistakes. They have been forced into this. So many people have had tweet them going, oh, you know, at least they've learned. Ah, they listened to us. Yeah, they didn't listen to you. Are you insane? What do you think that just because they put on their website that we listened to your feedback? No, they saw that the pre-order sales were horrendous. They had a terrible reputation online and in general for what they're trying to do to people. And bear in mind, all of this is even with the Connect thing is still going to happen. But, you know, they realised that they weren't going to make any money and that their company was going to die. So they had to do something. They were forced into it. They don't care about, you know, you actually being able to trade your games and stuff. They're just doing it because otherwise no one's going to buy their console. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So this is a little bit of, I suppose, what's it called? Damage control by Xbox. I'm sure there's going to be quite a few of you who now are going to be persuaded to buy one because of this. I personally still wouldn't, but, you know, I don't care if you do. I'm not going to... I know there's some people who probably get a bit get, you know, worked up about this because people maybe take the mick out of them because they're buying an Xbox, it's got these problems. I don't care. Enjoy your freaking console. So in summary, I basically think this is good news for people who are pretty much set on getting the next Xbox console, but they thought like they were getting forced into going with the PS4 because of these things that they were unhappy with, but they can be easily swayed back over with some good news such as this. But let me just give you a quick example of how I kind of feel this whole situation plays out and how I think most people that are a little bit impartial might see it. So for the sake of example, imagine two people. You meet two new people. They're, for the sake of an example, practically identical in every single way. Now, both of these people want to be your friend, but you can only have one friend. Now, one of these people says to you, okay, well, I'll be your friend, but when you're not around, I'm going to talk badly about you behind your back. The other guy says, I won't do that. So, you know, you would logically think, all right, well, I'll pick the guy who's not going to talk bad about him behind my back. So then what if the guy who is going to talk bad about you says, okay, well, if you're not going to be my friend, if I do that, then I won't do it. Now who are you going to choose? Well, logic would kind of state that you probably still wouldn't want to go with the guy who originally said he would talk bad about you behind your back. And that's how I think a lot of people who are a bit impartial are going to see this. You know, this news doesn't really matter too much because it's just the fact that the thought was there and they tried their hardest to implement it. So that's my kind of view on the whole situation. I hope you enjoyed the video and the commentary. Feel free to discuss in the comment section as maturely as possible your thoughts on the whole situation. And I will see you guys next time. Of course, don't forget to smash that like button, guys. I'll see you guys soon.